Hey everybody, I'm Dan Fredenberg. This is the middle of August 2025, and this episode is presented by Cardinal Financial Consulting. It's called This Guy Smokes a Popsicle and more. Now, what on earth am I talking about? Well, I should mention that Cardinal Financial Consulting, they help with building your entities, doing the financial, audited financials to send to your investors, all that kind of stuff. And if you want to build a real estate fund or something like that, we're the people to talk to. Now, as far as smoking this popsicle, yes, once again, because I am the host of Chess with Investors, as featured on chesswithinvestors.com, we're going to go through some chess. So it is hot, it is the summer, and right now chess.com has a popsicle as one of the characters that where's here. Okay, sorry about that. There we go. They have some popsicles as an opponent here, and he's very difficult. He's rated 1800. And one thing that's kind of interesting, at least to my mind anyway, is that my phone gave a different review as far as results goes. My phone, it has the accuracy, like my accuracy is higher. Actually, both of my accuracy and the popsicle's accuracies are higher on the desktop than on the phone. Right here, it says that my play was like a 2200 and the popsicle's play was as a 1550. Over here on the desktop, it says my performance was 2150 and the popsicle was 1500. But let's get started and we'll explain how this works so maybe you can get a little bit better at chess. So first thing, out comes NF3 to basically take some control of the center, and the popsicle decides to match. Now, so that means I am covering these two dark squares, he's covering these two light squares. So my next move, I go ahead and put that out there because it's protected by that, and then that way he can't it's just more strength to stop that pawn. He does that to further prepare for that move right there, and I say I'm taking up lots of space even though this is coming out. So next he ends up pinning my knight. He's threatening my knight, which is it's kind of a fake threat, but it's more of an annoyance than anything else, and I completely ignore it, swinging my knight out here to challenge those two squares that are controlled by that knight. He brings this knight out, and I know that that is quite clearly because this pawn is going to target that pawn right there. It's a little bit of a nasty situation because it's supported by this one, but you'd really like to keep that here because that stops the knight from going here or here. Next move, I say, get out of here, you crazy bishop, and then he says, okay, I'll go over here. Now, you can see the engine was recommending that the popsicle takes this knight, and then I put this this pawn out here. He's saying it's better to actually threaten it, but I didn't want to deal with that because there's too much going on here. The bishop controls that square, and so does the knight. So the one piece of defense, it's not enough. You know, sure, I'd end up because I'd have two pawns in return for a piece, but I am not playing along with that. Sure enough, he does what I expected, threatening this pawn right there, and I ignore it, instead putting this bishop over here. The reason why I'm doing that is not only just to try and control this diagonal, it's also so I can castle over here with my king, getting that over there. So he decides, I'm going to threaten your knight, and I say, oh yeah, well, I'm going to threaten your bishop. And this guy is facing air. So what does he do? He says, okay, I'd better get out of here. The computer recommends that the bishop goes over here, but instead he goes over there. And I go, okay, I'm taking that because it's backed up by the bishop. The computer does not like that move. So, and I mean the engine that's figuring out what the best moves are. Anyway, so it says I should have threatened this bishop, and that's also probably because that pawn right there is hanging. He does the best move, which is to take up more space, and I say, give me that knight right over here. And he says, give me your knight. Now, he takes it with the queen. The engine says that that wasn't a great idea. It should have taken it with the knight instead, but that's okay, because what I do is I go, all right, well, how am I going to, basically put some pressure on that queen? And my idea was to move this pawn forward, to move that bishop forward, to reveal when I move that pawn. So he goes over here to threaten my knight. I say I'll go over here, that's fine, and this is covered by both my pawn and my bishop, so that's cool. He takes up more space. The computer's recommending the rook goes over instead because there's probably going to be some action going on over here. I castle to make sure my king's nice and safe before I do my ridiculousness. He castles on the opposite side, which is usually a good idea, but I find that when you're first getting started, it's a little bit tricky to play positions that where the two sides castle on opposite sides, but it can run into all sorts of trouble. But anyway, next up I go, okay, I'm going to protect this pawn in case it ends up going on a rush like that. It says I already should fianchetto my bishop over here. So then he doubles up because he knows what's coming. So now it's saying that I shouldn't even bother fianchettoing it. So that goes to show how chess really works and how chess engines interpret how chess works, because it's saying that's the best move. Oh no, that changes everything. So now it's a bad move. Isn't that crazy? Anyway, so now he forks my knight and my pawn, so chances are I'm going to be missing one of them. It's backed up by the bishop over here, so if I take, he's going to take back, and that's going to continue pressure on the knight. But I take it anyway, and the computer says that's the best move. He takes back, which is also the best move. Then I move over here, which it says it's decent, but it would have preferred that I move my queen up here. I think it's to get the control of this diagonal. Anyway, so he slides over here, even though it says that he should have supported his bishop by moving this pawn right here. And what else is going on here? So oh yeah, this was an interesting move. I didn't like that I wasn't able to move this pawn. I couldn't move this pawn a second ago because of this bishop. I wanted to move up there because then I've got this pawn chain that is really difficult to penetrate, even if you have this this queen and bishop right here. So I moved my queen there because it still covers that pawn, and it covers that pawn, and it sets up for the other stuff that I'm trying to do. And he decides to double up. Now already you'll see by the evaluation bar it says that it really likes my position, which is pretty crazy because if you look at the totals here, you look at the different pieces that are you see under Popsicle bot. I see you're not really seeing my cursor. Up at the top of the screen under Popsicle bot, you can see that he has taken my pawn and my knight. And if you look at the bottom where my name is, there are 2 pawns and 1 knight and a little +1. So that means that I am 1 piece of material up, which is a pawn. I'm up by a pawn. I've captured more of his stuff than he has. And yet still, it says I'm up by 4.8 pawns. So this definitely counts as a smoking. So then I say, all right, I'm going to threaten this queen while simultaneously attacking this bishop over here with my bishop. Okay, so he has to do something about his queen or he's going to lose it, and he can't really defend the bishop in any real meaningful way. At the minimum, it's going to be a trade. He might, because he can't even go over here. He can't go here and he can't go there to support that that bishop. He can't go here. He can't go to. I'll check it here. He can't go to this square here on f6. Because the bishop would just take it, and he can't go here to g6 because the knight would take it. So he takes the pawn, and I say, I will eat the bishop. And that's what I did. It's the best move. And then the computer says, okay, well, I'm going to take this pawn. Now this one, I had a pretty long think for this move because I was going like, do I move my rook over here? Because then this pawn can't take the next pawn because it's pinned to the king. It makes it an illegal move. Or do I move my queen over so I keep holding on to here? Like this battery, the rook and the queen, they're kind of scary for hitting this, especially because the bishop is also pointing there. So we got everything pointing at this one pawn. And one thing you do in chess is you count the number of attackers and the number of defenders. Here you can see he's got 1, 2, 3 attackers of this pawn, and I only have 1, 2 defenders. So that's a little bit scary, but the good news is he's kind of behind the 8 ball since he pretty much has to take the pawn with the bishop because he eventually wants to use the queen, but I can just go ahead and ignore it and say, okay, so you got a pawn, so what? So for my next move, I move over here, and that's because The bishop is backed up by the queen, which is cool, and it threatens both the queen and the pawn. So I can do something really cool. So he does the best move. The Popsicle moves his queen out of the way, and I go, all right, well, I'm going to pin this. Now, it recommended moving this back over here. I don't really see what they're offering here. I think I can hit best, and then... yeah, it says that's best, and then if I hit show follow-up, it says that this is what would end up happening, which that doesn't seem to be in a massive advantage anyway. So we hit resume. Okay, so back. This is what happened next. I'll just go back and forth so you see it, right? So we're back to the real position, and he decides it's time to take the pawn. You can see the computer thought it's like, okay, that's all right because you're up a pawn, but you can see I can completely ignore it, which is what I do, and I start by taking this pawn. It recommends threatening the queen instead. Yeah, now that knight's gone, that makes sense. That makes me want to back up to this one here. One of the ideas I had back... okay, yeah, no, it's already gone. I had an idea of bringing the knight. Oh, yeah, it must be later in the game that I'm thinking about. So strike that. Just ignore that I said anything. So next, after I take this pawn, he says I'd better move over here. It says that's the best engine move. And I go, okay, so now I can take this bishop with my rook. Because if he wants to take it with his queen, it's fine. Because I'll take and basically I'll keep on messing him up. So by this point, you can see those totals that I was talking about. I think I can highlight. Yeah, right here it says +5. So I've got 3 pawns, both of his bishops, and a knight, and he has 4 pawns and 1 knight of mine. So that's why this is where you start to simplify. So one of the best tricks you can do as a more advanced chess player, and by more advanced, I don't mean anything like I'm not saying I'm a really advanced player or like a GM or any crap like that, because I definitely am not. So don't think that for a second. Oh yeah, now the move I was talking about is coming out. But what I mean is, like, as you get further in chess, they say the way to win a winning position is to trade off everything. And so basically what it means, make sure you're doing these even trades, you simplify the number of pieces, and then your advantage should carry through into a win. So this was the scary one. He moves the best move. This is what I was thinking about a second ago. And because what I was eyeballing was this knight coming right here to threaten this queen. I was also thinking if I move right here, that threatens this rook, and the rook has only one safe space, which is over there. And then if I swing this around, this queen's almost trapped, but it isn't trapped because of that right there. But all of this is a terrible idea. The reason why it's a terrible idea is because this knight is the only thing that's protecting this square right here, and if this comes around, I'm going to lose the game on the spot because that's a fork of my king and my queen. So if my knight's over here, this guy moves here, I get in check, which means you have to move. That's the rules. And then on the next move, he can go ahead and take the queen. So I would have been completely hosed. So I decided to apparently do the best move, which is to take this pawn, which was hanging. And basically it also means that if he moves here, that's no longer a fork. So computer, the Popsicle moves over. That's the best move. This is some pretty exciting stuff. And so I go, okay, I'll take that. And again, trading down material because I have such a big material advantage. He takes back with the pawn, and I move this up here to set up a kebab. Even though it likes this move, I know I considered that, but I didn't end up doing it. I should tell you what a kebab is. So, right, if my bishop is right there, then that targets this queen and that rook. And so what that means is either you get the front one or you get the back one, and there's not really much you can do. And in this case, the queen could go ahead and take it, but then I'm getting a queen for a bishop, which is a sweet deal. So anyway, he moves over. It says the best move was to get out of the way to avoid the kebab, and then I do best move kebabbing or skewering the queen and the rook. He moves the rook out of the way, which really surprised me, and so I did the best move, which was sacrificing the queen, because if he just decides to move his queen out of the way to save it from the bishop, well, he's going to lose on the spot, because this will be checkmate. I also have this rook here threatening the exact same checkmate because the king has nowhere to go. He moves this pawn, which it says is okay, but he says that he should have taken the queen. So I'm like, okay, I'll take your queen. And so even though the computer says I should have taken this pawn, which is kind of mind-blowing. Anyway, he does the best move, taking the queen. I double up for the best move. getting a battery here to slide down there, and that's important because this guy's sitting there. He moves over there, which is cool, and I do the best move right there to threaten the rook. He moves this so he has an escape route, and I say, okay, I'm taking that. He takes back, which is the best move. Apparently, moving my king over here was the best move. That's a classic example of a computer being really freaking weird. But anyway, so I went and checked, and it's protected, and the king can't go there. He has to go here. So he does. And then I move this knight over here, which apparently is the best move. This one up here, I just want to clear out all these extra pawns real quick. He does the best move over here. You can see we're in an end game, and I've got 1, 2, 3 different pieces, including a heavy piece. 3 pawns to his 3 pawns, so this should be a pretty easy win to convert from here. Even though I assure you, if you try to play this Popsicle on chess.com, you're going to have a lot of troubles. He's rated 1800. Now, I found that the 1800 rated bots don't actually play like 1800s. As a matter of fact, it tends to be about 1500 or something like that. But still, that puts you in the 90th percentile. So out of the 200 something million players on chess.com, you'd be able to beat 90% of them if you can beat a guy like this Popsicle. Anyway, so I moved over here because this is check as well. It's saying that because this knight is protecting that pawn, it's saying that check would have been a better move, but that's okay. He does that. The computer hates that. It says I now have mate in 7, which a computer would recognize. Apparently that was the move to get to mate in 6. He's taking that one. He takes back. Okay, that was a mistake apparently, because it wanted me to go over here, but I wanted to basically take this pawn and still have protection, so I did that. It says this way check is better because that way the pawn's defended. That's fine, because right now this is just basically being pushy and converting the win. So I move this bishop over here, so now both of these two are invincible. The king has no ability to take either one of them. He moves there, which is best move. It doesn't matter. I go over here, which is best move, because I'm going to take this pawn, even though it says I need to do this really weird king move that I have no idea what that's going to achieve. He moves over here, drops it to mate in 8. That's best move to mate in 7. He moves over here, still mate in 7. Now it's mate in 6. That's best move. Move this up here. Okay, so apparently that promoting to the queen was the way to get the mate. So mate in 3, mate in 2. Okay, so I was supposed to go over here. All right, and then he moved over there. I go check. I was set up for a ladder mate, just going line by line to finish him off. He moves over here. I go check, which is best move, and there's the mate. So that is me smoking a Popsicle. Now, why on earth are we talking about chess? Because after all, sure, I got chess with investors. I'm a real estate guy. I got here through tech and all that kind of stuff, and I was trying to figure out a neat little gimmick to end up sharing with more people. I'll turn off the chess match right here. And Cardinal Financial, I already mentioned, they help with financial services like preparing audited financials for investors, preparing K1s and all that kind of stuff. We're going into the fourth quarter of the year, so a lot of people need to be thinking about that already. And one thing that is exciting is Cardinal Financial, Ryan Yates, the CEO, he is offering a $150 gift card to a random person who creates an appointment, a call using his Calendly link in the month of August. So I encourage that. But there are a few reasons why I put chess and real estate together, like on this show. And the biggest reason is because I think that if you're talking about something like real estate, it's highly detail-oriented sort of business. So what I'm trying to say is like little facts create or kill deals pretty easily. And if I'm going to trust somebody to be my advocate, to help me invest or something like that, or even any of this stuff, I want to make sure that they're at least as good as I am on a bad day, and hopefully they're better than me at what they do than when I'm on a great day. So one of the ways I can figure that out is, well, one, how do people face adversity? How do they react to adversity? In other words, do they just throw in the towel and walk away? Do they say, I'm just going to lose, so they just give up? Or do they persevere and stick with it? And the other thing too is that like, do they pay attention to these little minute details that could be deal killers and that sort of thing? So that's really the missing link. And of course, it's a memorable experience. The fact is, if you play chess with somebody, you have a relationship with them that's definitely another level compared to having a bunch of conversations, even if it is on what you do every single day. So that's the game that I've got for you today, and the offer, you can connect with me on LinkedIn if you want to access that link and talk to Ryan about your financial goals, your financial services that you have in place, what's good, what's bad, what might mess you up if you want to do an exit strategy like sell your business, something like that. He's seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. The fact is, there are 6 banks now in the United States with over $1 trillion of assets, and he worked for one of them when there were only 3 banks that had over $1 trillion of assets. He was in the alternative fund space, and so that means real estate. And it was in times where this particular bank was doing an aggressive expansion of their balance sheet. They were really trying to get more people on. And so that means he's seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, including ones that were on the wrong side of the law. Anyway, so that's what I got going on. Please do make sure that you connect. If you do want to appear on Chess with Investors, as appears on chesswithinvestors.com, that'd be absolutely fantastic. You can connect with me and let me know. And then the other thing is, if you are in the commercial real estate space, you might be interested in coming on a chance encounter, which is featured on dandoesdeals.com. Anyway, that's what I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed watching me smoke this popsicle, which is a weird thing. Like, I've heard this blow this popsicle stand. I've heard that one before, but smoking it, I don't know. You got to stop the scroll, right? Anyway, thanks a million for watching. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye.